We are holding in the middle of speaking about the difference between the Medrash Rabbah and the Sifri. In the second explanation of the Sifri of what is the word Ve'eschanon about, why do we use the word Ve'eschanon, that according to the second explanation in the Sifri, it has nothing to do with davening. It is just about getting and asking for a free gift. And that is the idea of the word Veschanan from the word Chinam, that I will give a free gift. And Moshe and David HaMelech, even though they were deserving, they didn't ask on their own merits, they asked only a free gift. Whereas according to the Medrash Rabbah, along with the fact that Veschanan is part of one of the 10 expressions of davening, in addition to that idea that it's one of the 10 expressions of davening, it's an expression of davening that has to do with asking for a free gift, but it's not the same type of way of completely free gift that is completely, I have no mitzias whatsoever, because once you have the idea of davening, there has to be a certain relationship between the one you're davening to and the person that's davening. And therefore, there is a certain type of relationship. It's not completely free. It could be asked as if it's free. But if it's something that's not even a lotion of davening, like the Sifri says, it's totally a free gift. It's totally beyond. He says it's the level of pnimius hakeser, whereas the level of davening that's an lotion of free gift, that's chitzonis hakeser arich. And he says also that's the difference between the davening in the middle of the week, that even though davening in the middle of the week is the Shabbos part of davening, still in all, it relates to davening together with the idea of free gift. But Shabbos, which is completely matana, Shabbos, the idea of a free gift, so Shabbos davening, especially in the afternoon, is Raiva the Raivin, is ultimately the level of matnas chinam, this highest level of that's totally beyond anything that we have earned or received, etc., etc. So now he's going to go on and explain this with Alter Rebbe's explanation about what was the point specifically over here that Moshe Rabbeinu asked for a free gift, and it really has to do with what Moshe Rabbeinu wanted to affect in the Yid. So again, Ois Gimel, line 10, page Ches, fourth page of the Maim. We can connect all of this in Bir with exclamation the Indian concerning the concept that the Veschanon only means a free gift, that through Moshe Rabbeinu's entrance to Eretz Yisrael, in other words, if he would have entered Eretz Yisrael, like his request was in Veschanon, I will cross, please, and I will see. Ratza Moshe Lifa Leitzel B'nai Yisrael, Moshe Rabbeinu wanted to affect by the Yid. Madrega Kazual, this level, it's impossible to reach it through the avoid of the created beings. Moshe Rabbeinu wanted to impart a level of connection with Hashem that's beyond anything that the Nivroim could reach by their own avodah. What is that level? That's an inspiration from above, that's totally above, an inspiration from below. In other words, such amshacha, which is completely beyond what we could do and what we could be ma'oder. That's the explanation of the expression, that it's a free gift. It's like it says that the Yidden said, we remembered the fish that we ate in Mitzrayim for free. So Rashi explains, the Chazal explain, Chinam, what's it mean for free? The Mitzrim didn't charge them for food. The Mitzrim were such Jew lovers that they gave them free fish. But Chinam, the Rashi explains, means Chinam b'loy mitzvahs, it was free without mitzvahs. The same thing over here when Moshe Rabbeinu was asking for such a level of matnas Chinam. He meant chinam b'loy mitzvahs, free without mitzvahs. What's it mean, free without mitzvahs? That hainu, this means, line 18, madrega shehi lamaylam chinas ha-mitzvahs, a level that's way higher than the level of mitzvahs. Not that we're trying to get a freebie without doing mitzvahs. It's such a high level that our mitzvahs can't reach over there. Like I said before, that's it's totally beyond anything that we could do and accomplish by our avodah. So that was Moshe Rabbeinu's request. That was the Ebronah ve'ere, and that's why Vaetchannun was a request for a matnas chinam, because he wanted to draw down to the Yidden a level of matnas chinam. So he asked in a way of matnas chinam. So the Rebbe goes on to explain, and this is the explanation of the Sifri, that it's only matnas chinam. Vaetchannun has nothing to do with davening. It's not one of the 10 expressions of davening. It has to do with a free gift total. Line 19, according to this, we can explain the understanding of the Sifri Vaetchannun that Vaetchannun does not even, it's not even a part of the category of 10 expressions of davening. How come? Because the whole idea of davening is about Isrus L'Sata. Davening is in a way, it's an avodah of inspiration from below. I'm reaching out to Hashem. I'm asking Hashem. I'm approaching Hashem. But l'chein, therefore, kidei, top of the page test, to be able to influence and affect by Hashem the fulfillment of the request that Moshe Rabbeinu wanted to cross and see. And that idea of Moshe Rabbeinu crossing and seeing Eretz Yisrael was about this would have affected by the Yid, that they would have had the revelation in a way of an inspiration from above. So there had to be the request from Hashem also in a similar manner, that the request that Moshe Rabbeinu was asking should have been in a way, and had to be in a way, of completely something that's free. He had to request, not using an expression of davening that's connected with merits, as we mentioned before, that after all is said and done, when I approach Hashem with davening, it's still, when I've earned it, when I've done something, when I've shown a relationship with Hashem, there the davening has more efficacy, the davening has more power. Similar to the idea that we give tzedakah before davening. We give tzedakah before davening, just like we have rachmanus and compassion on someone that has less than us. We are asking for Hashem to have compassion on us as well. So davening is built on to a certain degree, like we mentioned earlier, on a connection and something that I am doing to elicit my request from Hashem. But Moshe Rabbeinu was trying to draw down such a high level that's beyond any type of Isrus L'Sata. So the way how he requested it was completely beyond the idea of davening. Ella matnas chinam mamish, but rather a totally free gift, that's not connected at all with merits. So that all explains how Vaetchannun fits in with the explanation of the Sifri. How does this idea of what Moshe Rabbeinu wanted to affect spiritually fit in also with the Medrash Rabbah's explanation that it does have to do with tefillah, that even though it's an idea about asking in a way of something that's free, but it's still one of the expressions of davening which shows on a relationship. So that's what he addresses in the second paragraph, line 8. But the view of the Medrash Rabbah, the understanding of the Medrash Rabbah, that also Vaetchannun is one of the 10 expressions of davening. This will be prefaced by understanding, by what's explained in this will be understood by prefacing what's explained in Likutei Torah. That this above mentioned request of Moshe Rabbeinu, what did Moshe Rabbeinu try to effect in the Yidden by crossing over into Eretz Yisrael? That should have the inspiration from above, that's higher than the inspiration from below. Who inyan ha-Torah. What Moshe Rabbeinu was trying to effect was the idea of Torah. In other words, Moshe Rabbeinu was asking for the concept of Torah, which Torah is, as I'm going to explain, an Yisrus Eila completely. Share al Yoda, because through Torah, Nimshach mebchinas anoichi mishanoichi comes down from the level of I, who I am. Matan Torah began with the words Anoichi. Anoichi is higher than Alekecha, higher even than Shem Yud Kei Vav Kei. It's the level of Hashem's essence that Chihi Lamaila Misrus L'Sato. When you're dealing with Hashem's very I-ness, His very essence, His very being, it's completely higher than anything having to do with our level, with our avodah. That idea, the way the Torah comes down to us and connects us with the level of Anoichi, comes down in the way of a gift. And moving according to this, it's not understood. We say that Moshe Rabbeinu was not allowed in Eretz Yisrael. That means that his request, that he wanted to have the idea of which means the level of Yisrus La'ela that's beyond Yisrus La'Sata, was not fulfilled now, and it's only going to happen when Mashiach comes. We do know, we do have the idea of Torah. That this level of Torah, as we know, draws down from the level that it's a Yisrus La'ela, that's inspiration from above, that's higher than inspiration from below. So how do we say that if Moshe Rabbeinu's intent was the idea of Torah, and he didn't cross over, which means that request wasn't fulfilled, how can we say it wasn't fulfilled? We have the Torah now, and the Torah reaches a level that's higher than Yisrus L'Sat. Tzemach Tzedek explains the request of Moshe Rabbeinu was Sham Shocha Shaydei Torah Shabba B'derech Matana V'Yisrus L'Leil Kanal Dam Shocha through Torah, that comes in the way of a gift and inspiration from above, which happens regardless. So he's saying Tifa Lamata Ba'olam. Moshe Rabbeinu's request was that this should affect down here below in the world, similar to what it says about the Rashbi, Rab Shimon ben Yochai, that when the world needed rain, what did the Rashbi do? He said drush. He explained the pasuk Hina Matov Manoim Shevasachen Gam Yochad, and that affected the world. Everybody else, even great Tanoim and Amoraim, when the world needed rain and people came to them to daven, so they had to daven to Hashem and they had to pour out their hearts to Hashem like a child before his father, etc., etc. But they couldn't just say something in Torah and affect the rain. Why? Because Torah, by normal individuals and even great tzaddikim like great Tanoim, has nothing to do with the physical world. It's a Yisrus L'Leila, but it doesn't impact the physical world. As opposed to davening, when you had to impact and bring rain into the world, the Tanoim had to daven, because davening is about the physical world. It says in line 22, that's the advantage of davening over learning. The effect of Torah is primarily above in the world of Atzilus. In the higher worlds, that's the idea that it says that when a person learns down here, so Hashem is sitting, facing him, kaviyachol, and learning as well. So that means my effect of Torah learning, the effect of a person down here of Torah learning, has to do in the spiritual realms. Hashem is sitting and learning as well. It's not about this world. So he says on page Yud on V'ilo Idea Tefillah Poilin L'Shanis and Nevroim Mikmei as opposed to davening, it's about changing the creations from the way they are. We daven every day, Shemoneh Esrei, multiple times a day, except for Shabbos and Yom Tov, that the sick should be healed and the rain should come down. And the purpose of that tefillah is, it's not just Oil Misol Yoinim. The purpose of that tefillah is that in the physical world, the sick will be healed. The purpose is that the rain should come down the physical world. Why is it that way? Why does tefillah impact the physical world and Torah remains above in the spiritual worlds? He says, it's because davening comes from below to above, in a way from below to above. Therefore, it affects in the below, because since the davening is coming from below, so therefore it brings it down below. So that's a difference between Torah and Tefillah. Tefillah is a srustal asata, is srustal eila. The inspiration from below that brings down the amshacha from above. Therefore, it only reaches like a limited level, only the level that can be reached from our avodah. But the advantage of it is that it affects the world down here below. Torah, which comes down from Anoichi Misha Anoichi, it's a level of Yisrus La'ela that's completely transcends and is beyond anything we could reach by our avodah. But because it's not from us, it cannot affect the world down here. Moshe Rabbeinu's request was that in that higher level of Torah, in this Rusul La'ela, that's beyond this Rusul Sata, we should have the advantage of Tefillah to affect the world down here below, like it was by the exceptional case of Reb Shimon ben Yochai. Line 5, Moshe Ratzalifol Shagam Am Shochalamata Tia B'derech Yisrael De La'ela, that Moshe Rabbeinu wanted to influence and affect. That also the drawing down here below should be in a way of an inspiration from above. Idea Torah, through Torah, that Torah learning will be drawing down from that highest, most level into this world. And because of that, that's why the Medrash Rabba's opinion is also the request of the free gift of Moshe Rabbeinu was an expression of davening, not like the Sifri that was totally about a free gift, had nothing to do with davening, but rather the Medrash Rabbah says it's one of the 10 expressions of davening. Since Moshe Rabbeinu wanted to be the joining of both advantages. Though the Amshacha comes in the way of a free gift, an inspiration from above, still in all should come down to the most lowest place below, in the place of davening. Therefore, therefore in his davening, there were both components. Tefillah was both an expression of davening. Aval, like we said, Ve'atchanun, according to the Medrash Rabbah, is one of the 10 expressions of davening. But what type of expression? Aval ba'ifin she'inyano bakashas matnas chinam, in such a manner that idea is a free gift because you're trying to reach the level of Torah to come down here below, the level of Yisrus La'ela that's beyond this Yisrus La'asata. So that's the point of how we explain both the level of the Sifri according to Chassidus and both the level of the Medrash Rabbah according to Chassidus. Yet we know that in actuality, Moshe's request, Moshe's tefillah, or his bakashas chinam, depending the Medrash Rabbah or the Sifri, was not fulfilled. So he says, Nois Dalad, line 16, Afal Pikain, still in all, Loi Paul Moshe Rabbeinu in Yezebet Filasoi. Moshe Rabbeinu did not affect this in his davening. He did not cause this to take place in his davening. Since the ultimate purpose is that all matters need to come about as a result of avodah. Therefore, though because Moshe Rabbeinu did not enter Eretz Yisrael. So how did they enter Eretz Yisrael in actuality? Who led them into Eretz Yisrael? Yeshua. That Yeshua, it says, the Chazal say, that Moshe Rabbeinu was likened to the face of the sun and his brilliance, meaning the level of Moshe Rabbeinu was like as powerful as the sunlight in comparison to Yeshua. That Yeshua, in comparison to Moshe, is like Pnei Levana, like the moonlight. What's a crucial difference between sunlight and moonlight? The sun is unchanging. The sun doesn't become smaller and bigger. The sun is always bright and luminous. But the moon has the phases of the moon. It's lower, more light, less light, bigger moon, smaller moon. That it has and it changes. And just like Yeshua led them in to Eretz Yisrael with a lunar type of leading Eretz Yisrael. So that has changes. Therefore, his leading into Eretz Yisrael was not in the way of constant and consistency. Therefore, because Yeshua was the one that led him into Eretz Yisrael, since he's likened to the moon, and the moon can be changed, has changes, so the same thing, the Yidden's entrance to Eretz Yisrael was susceptible to a change, and therefore they could afterwards go into Golas. Moshe, as opposed to if the entrance to Eretz Yisrael would have been through Moshe Rabbeinu. So then it would have been then it says that there can never have been the destruction of Beis Hamikdash, there can never have been an exile, it would have been an everlasting redemption. Because what did we say Moshe Rabbeinu's value would have been? He wanted the effect that the Hamshachah should come down from Yisrus de La'ela, from an inspiration of above, that is independent. Matnas chinam in our mitzvahs, it's independent of our mitzvahs. So therefore, regardless of what we would have done or not done, the Hamshachah would have been there, because independent of our avoid. So therefore, one might think that we lost out. That the fact that Hashem did not grant Moshe Rabbeinu's request, it was a loss for us. So we're saying in line 25, Mikol Malkim, still in all, Dafka Ideza, only through this, that Moshe's request was not granted. Yeshna Miles Avoida, there's the advantage of Avoida, because now we have to bring it about. That Hashem desires the actions of your hand. In other words, Hashem's desire is that we should do the avodah shemamshicha or naili yoser, draws down a much higher light. So now what comes out is that the revelation of the light is much greater than if we would have gotten it through a free gift, because since Hashem desires the actions of our hands, that's where Hashem's desire is invested in. So therefore, our avodah taps into so much more higher than what would have been the free gift at Moshe Rabbeinu. The Rebbe concludes with a bracha. She's gal lemata begula mitzvah shleima, top of the last page. Idea Mashiach Tzidkenu will become revealed down here below through the complete and the final redemption through Mashiach. Shekasher Gam and Moshe Rabbeinu is connected also with Moshe Rabbeinu, the Geula with Mashiach. Shari Goel Rishon Goel Lachem, because say the first Redeemer, it's Moshe Rabbeinu. He's the final Redeemer of Mashiach. Yavi Galenum Hedreinu Mamish will come and redeem us speedily in our days. Mamish B'shnei Ifanim Shebazem, the two ways of it. Ba'ifin shall be ita, in a way that it comes at its correct time, at its time that it's been foretold. Through Hashem putting an end to the darkness. That's how it comes, when it comes in its time, regardless of what we do. Or in a way that's sped up. When is the Geula sped up? When Yidden do tshuva and immediately they're redeemed. So the Rebbe says we're going to have both advantages. We're going to speed it up. We're going to bring it about. It's going to be through our avodah. Plus Hashem is going to put the end to the darkness. In such a manner, it will be both aspects, and with all the advantages that's in each one of them, whether it's be'ita, b'chashana, v'chol nifl b'yom Shabbos. All this is affected in the day of Shabbos. That has also the advantage, like we said, that Shabbos is in a way of a free gift. By days through that we can nullify all the decrees, including also one of the 3 oaths that Hashem told us not to push the end, because all the decrees are nullified, because it's a time of a free gift, and so it will be for us. It is in